people. Alright, Teresa's death. She was in there a couple of months after me, Teresa. I'm not allowed to give last names on this thing I'm doing because they say it's a law and anybody could sue me. So you're only getting first names from me. Teresa, she was in there a couple of months after me, and she actually survived Osler House, believe it or not, in a sense. But a couple of years before I got out, the police were taking her home. She made one big mistake. She told us she was going to help us, she was going to tell the authorities what really happened to us. And then she was supposed to be found dead after having an epileptic fit, they rated it as. She died. And isn't that funny how she was going to tell the truth about us? Margaret, an elderly woman, well, around the 60s anyhow. All she wanted one day was to see the preacher. He was in there. She was bashing and bashing on the door. Yet this nurse decided to just grab her, land her down in her head into the corner post. And he did it hard. And then he threw her down. She got up again the second time. Same thing happened, but harder. The third time, he knocked her out. Well, we all knew she was dead because she wasn't breathing. But they just grabbed her and they just put her in a room. A couple of nurses had to carry her into a room. Next morning, bet your boots, she was found dead of supposedly heart attack. Isn't that amazing? Then Vicky, she and they got out of our rooms one night. She wouldn't let them have sex, well, the sexual acts they were wanting her to do, and me. She wouldn't do it. She started laughing crazy. Anyhow, they dragged her with a towel around her neck. They just dragged her. And what they did was they ended up hanging her. But before they hung her, I heard the bashings. I didn't see them hang her, but it was impossible to hang somebody because the shutters were shut. And you'd have to even be a fool if you reckoned that after that happened, and after they dragged her, and after, just because she was kicking them while they were dragging her, you can honestly say, then I just heard like keys. It was all over. They hung her up on the wall, and there's no way that anybody could, even if they wanted to hang themselves, they reckon she did it. But you would have to have the keys to open the door, the shutter, to put a sheet up there to even hang herself. And how could a person hang herself like that if she didn't have the keys? And even though if she stood on the thing, she wouldn't have been able to hang herself. Then we had Marie. They bashed her and bashed her till she was dead. Then there was Patty. And they bashed her and it was unbelievable. And they bashed her till the bones were actually broken. The reason I'm saying that is because as they were bashing her, there were stages she yelled out that she couldn't move. And she was even yelling, "You're breaking me, you're breaking me, you're breaking me." Anyhow, they got a knife. One of them got a knife. The real psycho guy got a knife, stabbed her in the neck. And her eyes just stared. She was dead. Man, there was another girl in there, Lynn. She was an okay person. They dragged her out in the nude. And they kicked her to death. They just kept kicking her and kicking her and kicking her till she died. Then there was Robin. They actually grabbed me and Robin and put us in the same room. And it was unbelievable how that happened because the nurses, when we were in there, they grabbed me and they said, they told me, look at this bitch. And then they made me actually watch her, and they said, have you seen our boxing practice? And they were laughing around and saying, this is how we box. And they kept boxing her in the face till she was bleeding out of the nose, she was bleeding out of the mouth, and you could see just her lip, how it was going up. And, she didn't deserve that. No one deserves that. After that, they were kicking her badly. After that, the male nurses got me on the floor, and they stuck a pocket knife up my vagina. Straight after that, they got her and did the same thing to her. They actually rammed a pocket knife up her. She went out to it, and then they got a pocket. Then they changed the blades on the pocket knife. They had one of those pocket knives where from the army with the big blades, little blades. And he got her while she was out to work, and he actually knifed her in her body and cut it up like you wouldn't believe, like he was playing noughts and crosses. Then he got a piece of her organ. And while they were holding me up, they actually rammed it down my neck. And, man, that's worse than when these guys went to war. They didn't even do that. I mean, these nurses were sicko because they wouldn't go for help, because they didn't have psychiatric training. This whole episode was totally wrong. There's more to Robin's story, there's more to Lynn's story, there's more to Patty's story. In my book, I talk about how it happened step by step, what was really said and how it was said. And you wonder why some people out there are written off with labels, or written off to be crazy. My God, that would make anybody go crazy. That's why I need justice. That's why I need the government to turn around and give these kids names on their graves. They were animals. We were treated as animals. The only thing we had in that place, we learned how to lie, we learned how to cheat, we learned how to con, we learned how to murder, we learned how to fight, we learned how to hate, and we learned how to stick up for ourselves and fight for ourselves, and we had to fight worse than animals. Worse than an animal. And it's just wrong. What they did to us, we have to suffer now. The ones that are still alive have to suffer now. And it was a blood slaughtering place as far as I'm concerned, for children and teenagers and some adults. In Queensland in the year 2000, they have found bodies. In New South Wales, they have found bodies just out of walls. My God, doesn't that say it for itself? So you really wonder what's been going on all these years through the whole of Australia. How the hell can we call ourselves? How can we be proud to be an Australian if no one is helping us get justice, if no one's helping us out there to even try to make the wrongs right and to try to help us? I just wish that somebody could treat me and that I wouldn't have to drug and drink alcohol, smoke pot, and do the things I do just because I need to forget and need to survive. I mean, that's just wrong. I really don't understand. Man, there was a song that came out with Chuck Gerard, and it was called Don't Shoot the Wounded, Someday You Might Be One. So think about that.